Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it is the chatty bot, Sharkbot, going to be taking on Eris in a PvZ, but more importantly, a bot versus bot match. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If we can hit, I don't know, 5 likes on this video for... actually, let's go for 15 likes on this video, because Sharkbot has 15 probes. And then leave a comment down below saying more bots or perhaps more cannons, as I believe that's what we're going to be seeing out of Sharkbot here today. It does like to block third and fourth bases sometimes with cannons, so we'll see if it gets up to that shenanigans against Aerys here today. And then, yeah, subscribe if you guys haven't already subscribed. Lots of people watch these videos, but don't necessarily click that button, so go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And then, yeah, if you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. The link for that is in the description, and big thanks to everyone that does. Sharkbot is going to be looking to place down a pylon at the fourth base of Aerys. The drone for Aerys just missed that being placed. However, then it does actually come back. But, it misses it again. So we'll see if it actually is going to be able to shut this down early. Probably not from the looks of it, but Aerys is a really great bot. It doesn't struggle at all with dealing with something like a blocked expansion for the most part. And yeah, how about I just pull up the descriptions on these bots, as that is something that is always fun to do. So we'll pull up Sharkbot's description and Eris's description. I think Sharkbot's is a little bit longer than Aerys, which makes sense, seeing as how Sharkbot is a bit of a chatty bot. Drones for Aerys actually do find this cannon being built and are pulled against it. It's going to be very close whether they finish it or not. Lings do come down to help out. Over the Lings, they're attacking the pylon. Why? Oh no, this is just a bit of miscoordination. The drones immediately all run, except for this one warrior who decides to go down with the ship a little bit late on that one. Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. I think we've seen that happen to Aerys before, against Sharkbot's cannonanigans. And then we have, so for the description of Sharkbot, after getting distracted by that a little bit, we've got Sharkbot programmed by LaughNgamez, last updated the 7th of April, 2025, so not that long ago, compared to when I'm recording this. Created July 2020, or the 8th of July 2020, and I could say it was born at 2000 hours, 58 minutes, and 15 seconds. That's when Sharkbot entered the bot world. Yeah, it is an older bot. It's had lots of work done to it over the years. I'm not sure I've ever seen it do that chat tag before saying Mass Stalker Prism Colossus 3 base, which is exciting. Maybe a timing attack or something coming out of Sharkbot. Stalkers and Colossus are very darn strong. It has got some trophy saying top 10 SC2AI season 1. Not sure if trophies get updated on the bot profiles anymore. But yeah, Sharkbot says, I'm a chatbot that has ventured into gaming and now Starcraft 2. I've spent the past decade scouring remote villages in the Alps in France and Italy to bring you the most exotic and repugnant cheeses. I think it lives up to that pretty well. You can talk to Sharkbot if you want to. There's a link for that on its profile. You should be able to find its profile pretty easy on the SC2AI website. Then we have got it saying, I use the Sharky framework and Sharky machine learning, which is interesting. And then it's just got, its results printed. So it has finished highest ranked Protoss, second place in some tournaments. Very cool. And it does use machine learning to determine which build that it uses sometimes, as that is something that you can get a healthy data set from when your bot's on the ladder. I'm working on my own bot right now, or more so AI with my guidance is working on my bot, as I'm not a programmer. And it's actually ridiculous how good AI is at programming these days, so it's definitely helping me do that, but that is something that I do plan on adding in. Maybe not like a ton of builds, seeing as how it is a new bot, but maybe some variation in my bot's strategy based on win rates. Alright, we do have Eris actually going for quite an attack here, though. Roaches and Ravagers hitting the third of Sharkbot, which is in quite a bit of trouble. There's observers to reveal these Roaches and Ravagers, but I do believe Sharkbot will lose this third. The one Stalker has been getting shots off on the Roaches, as Eris was really focused on that base, but now it has nowhere to go as it's cornered. The Protoss bot does have a third base on the way up, so that's actually going to help it come back economically, and it's not in a bad spot, as Eris's own fourth base was delayed quite a bit. Because of this, the Zerg is now going to, or its own third base was delayed quite a bit. Now, the Zerg is going to try and push up that ramp. There is an Overlord in very nice positioning to reveal that cannon. The Stalker will try and push these Ravagers away. Ironically enough, morphing a Roach into a Ravager isn't necessarily a good thing, or as good of a thing in bot games, because then it loses the ability to burrow and heal as quickly as Roaches do. Roaches heal incredibly quick. Sharkbot has just been trickling out Stalkers in order to try and defend this. This is quite a scrappy game from two bots that are rather macro-focused, but now there's a Colossus out, so that's going to help try and push these Ravagers away. Dealing some big swipes there, going to allow that Ravager to be killed. Eris is now producing lots of Lings, though, but Sharkbot is determined to get up that fourth base, and it is producing more Colossus, 2 at a time at the 6.5 minute mark. Is some serious Colossus production, and looks like this one may actually kill those 2 Ravagers, which is quite nice. Gets one of them. A Roach is on top of it, though. So it's got to be careful, as there isn't a lot of units for Sharkbot, and Lings are now coming on in. The Colossus are going to start cutting up these Lings, though. The injured one is trying to retreat, and I think there is enough damage to kill those Lings kind of as they run on in. Aerys is being quite aggressive this game. However, it does have that fourth base about to finish up. It's growing in that drone count. Despite that early game aggression we've had, both bots are over 70 workers. Aerys at 80, Sharkbot at 76. That fourth base getting delayed for Sharkbot did hurt it a little bit, but now it's already transferring probes down to saturate that up. The Colossus count is a whopping 3, which is no joke. And then we do have more Nexus going up for Sharkbot. A 5th Nexus on the way. Eris just getting up its 5th base. And I'm curious whether Sharkbot's going to attack or what. It's already at 4 Colossus. The Protoss bot has more Colossus than it has Stalkers right now. So I assume at some point Stalker production's going to have to catch up. There is Warp Gate, pardon me, done. But there's currently just 1 Warp Gate. So that's why Stalker production is so low. We'll see if Sharkbot throws up a ton of those. For now, it's building a ridiculous amount of shield batteries, which is interesting. This could really help out to maybe keep Colossus alive if there is Corruptors looking to come out for Eris, which I imagine there will be. Eris usually uses Corruptors to deal with that amount of Colossus. The Zerg bot is now looking to push on in. We do have the Colossus on the high ground, though, starting to swipe away on these Roaches with their +1 attack, and they really are just melting these Roaches. Sharkbot's aggressive unit programming is really being used as they just wander forward. A lot of the best bots actually make use of aggressive stepping, in that, like, they'll have their units constantly move forward, so they're not doing that glitchy thing where they tend to retreat endlessly. And it usually works out. With Colossus, it's a little bit nervous because they're very expensive and they have massive range, so they don't need to be that aggressive, but it did work there quite well. Eris has got a 6th on the way, but it's making Corruptors, getting lots of upgrades. Notably, Neural Parasite is also on the way. Infestors are really strong for Zerg bots in this day and age. And yeah, the Protoss just building up its force, getting Immortals. I like how it said Colossus Stalker at the start of the game, but it's still only got 3 gateways. It's making a few Stalkers, but then it's adding in Immortals. So yeah, we'll see whether Sharkbot's going to attack at some point soon. Psystorm's on the way, so High Templar could be a thing. What is this? Is this a Baneling or a Queen? It's the Queen car for Eris driving around. This Overlord wants to poop creep, drop the Queen, and then it can place down a tumor. We'll see if it actually has success with that. It's one of the more wacky features of Eris. Like, you never really know how much use that this gets, because, like, Eris has got really good creep spread just spreading from its own base, so it's like, does it really need this queen in the creep car? But I guess if it's got the queen anyway, it may as well try. And it definitely can mess with other bots. We do have Corruptors for Aerys poking on in, working away on the Prism, but Battery Overcharge keeping those alive as they do actually walk forward into that Battery Overcharge, but then the battery dies, so that's unfortunate for Sharkbot. We're now seeing Void Rays be added in. There's plenty of Stalkers on the ground to help with this. Blink isn't done for Sharkbot yet, so the Stalkers are not as useful as they potentially could be. Corruptors are getting some good shots off on the Colossus. They are taking damage as they do that, though. One of the Colossus did perish during that. The Zergbot falls back for now, but is maxed out, so Aerys will be looking for a fight. Aerys did place that creep tumor like behind the base, but I'd honestly love it if Aerys maybe adapted that creep car, we'll call it, or queen car, whatever we want to call that overlord that's driving around with a queen in it, to maybe prioritize going to the bases first, like every base. Just have it say, place down a creep tumor here. Place down a creep tumor here, and then sort of work its way inwards, so then eventually all the bases are guaranteed to have creep at them. That could potentially be very strong, although who knows. I don't know the full extent of what value the current creep car gets out. Colossus are walking forward once again into Roaches, very bold. The Immortals are backing them up too, which is quite nice. Sharkbot, though, holding the line against the Zerg Swarm for now. And what a game this is turning out to be. Both these bots are almost maxed out. Sharkbot has successfully taken a 6 base, and oh, there is a creep tumor that got planted here by the creep car. So that's good to see, but a little late, I guess, to block that Nexus perhaps. The Protoss bot is moving out to kill off some of these creep tumors, working away on Roaches, all that good stuff. As resources lost is probably pretty good for the Protoss, and it is, with a whopping 12,000 to 7,200, so that is good for Sharkbot. We'll see if it can maintain those trades as time goes on. Broodlords are being added in for Aerys. Sharkbot, though, adding in more Prisms, Tempest. Well, yeah, Tempest, Carriers, extra Stargates, extra Robos, everything. The Protoss does need to hold on to this 6 base, though, and Aerys is a bot that constantly attacks, so we'll see if that continues on. Sharkbot saying, sorry, we don't do group hugs, even slimy ones, which is a little interesting. I wonder what prompts that saying. The Spore Crawler Forest is moving forward for the Zerg, but those spores aren't really burrowing. Corruptors are still doing what they can, picking off a Colossus. Nice fungal growth goes down by Eris, catching some of those Protoss units, and Neural Parasite hits a Tempest. The Prism is very low, so some of those units are getting unloaded. Sharkbot is not taking the best trades, or hasn't been, for the past minute. Broodlords and all the Spellcasters are maybe changing the math a little bit. The Protoss is adding in more Void Rays, which I think is good, getting more upgrades going. Eris' Spellcasters are really scary, though, so we'll have to see how well that works out. The Spores are still wandering around, so I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Anyway, we do have Hydras, Corruptors moving forward. They do want to grab that Prism with precious cargo, although they're not actually High Templars, just some Zealots and Stalkers going for a ride, which is interesting. Broodlords are very strong for the Zerg, and we do have a Ling and a Roach harassing at the 6 base of Sharkbot. It hasn't really established a big cannon or battery presence there to help out. Now, Sharkbot's trying to hold on the high ground. Neural Parasite catches what I think is, I'm not sure if it's the Tempest or the Void Ray that's been Neural Parasited. It's really hard to tell in there. Okay, it's the Tempest. And Blinding Clouds are constantly being put down. Just great spellcaster usage by Eris. There is still that Nexus on the 6th base location. Sharkbot has even cleared out the 7th base and is getting that established, which is impressive. Holding on to these bases is so key for the toss right now, because Eris is mining more than it, and it's just constantly forcing these trades. So Sharkbot cannot let its income plummet even for a second. It really needs to keep its mining efficiency going. as Eris is just looking to push on in. Corruptors do eat a Psystorm. We have a feedback going down. Sharkbot's Prism usage is next level. We see those High Templar being unloaded and loaded back on in. However, that Prism is quite injured now. Looks like it's actually going to potentially fight this Roach, which is not ideal. A cannon being attempted to be built there. That's very important. The Protoss is holding this position now. Resources lost. Still about... Oh, well, right now it's actually about... Oh, gosh. Quick maths, guys. 7,000 resources between them, as Sharkbot's Death Ball is doing quite well for itself, so that's not bad at all. If Sharkbot can maintain these trades, I think it will be just fine. That cannon and more batteries are being built at this base. Meanwhile, there's a random Broodlord for Aerys harassing. This is problematic. Spore Crawlers are pushing up on the left, which is very interesting, as Creep is just... Well, the Roach is being a nuisance, hitting this base, the Broodlord causing problems. Sharkbot does want to move out, which is good to see. Sometimes the Protoss bot can be a little too defensive, but it is going for blood. My concern right now, though, is how grouped up these units are. Like, a couple Fungals and Blinding Clouds could be scary. Aerys, meanwhile, is building more Spores, getting more Corruptors. There's one Fungal activating all the hardened barriers on those Immortals. Looks like the Prism did get hit with a Parasitic Bomb, and that actually makes it die. So that is the High Templar gone for Sharkbot. That makes this army much more exposed than it was, and all of a sudden they are very deep into enemy territory as this battle just rages on. Corruptors in the sky flying around, Broodlords as well. Meanwhile, on the left side, looks like we've got Sharkbot trying to clean out another base location. Say what you will, while Sharkbot's been having a tough time, it has done a good job keeping its economy going. Unfortunately, this one Roach is a massive nightmare for the Protoss bot, as mining's just being disrupted. This one Broodlord is still there. A Stalker's trying to be a hero. Sharkbot really needs like a Void Ray to get over there and kill that. That eventually may happen, but for now it seems the ground army that went out on the map did get cleaned up quite handily by Aerys. So that's just not the best trade there for the Protoss, and it's probably going to need to regroup. This Broodlord is still causing problems, as the Stalker's really trying to be a hero, but having a hard time. There's a Void Ray showing up. The Roach seems to be gone. The Creep Tumor's still there at this base, though. But Sharkbot's economy is fine for now. Those were some big losses that it did take, losing most of that army out on the map. It's had some time to establish like a nice cannon battery line, but it will need some more of those high-value units. Like, it's got lots of Stalkers and Void Rays and right now, but yeah, it's kind of lacking those Colossus, lacking the Immortals, that kind of thing. Good feedback goes down. The Corruptors are still causing problems. Another feedback actually being utilized on Overseers. That may be a waste to be feedbacking Overseers. So Sharkbot may not want to do that. Stalkers on the ground are in a bit of trouble now, as Aerys is really looking to push forward. The battery overcharge will help out, but Broodlords are sieging non-stop, and the Protoss could have its 6th base in trouble, and that would cut off the 7th base as well. So this is looking really, really rough for Sharkbot. The toss just keeps adding in more Stalkers, maybe because the Void Rays have just been dying, maybe because there's so many Broodlords and Corruptors out. But we'll see whether it can make a miracle happen and hold on with lower supply and fewer units than its opponent. This is the pain of playing Aerys. Like, Aerys has such a high income most of the time. Well, now I believe it's traded out some of its workers, perhaps, but like Aerys always ensures that it can trade at a ridiculously high rate in these games. And so if your opponent loses some units, it has a hard time replacing them as quick as Aerys. And that means eventually you're just destined to fall in supply compared to Aerys. Sharkbot losing all those units earlier really hurt it. Now Aerys is just constantly trading out, able to replace its units. Sharkbot really can't replace its own units as quick. And now look at this Zerg Death Ball right now. Abduct goes down, kills that Oracle. Stalkers are blinking all over the place. We do have Tempest being added in once more. That may be the saving grace, but oh no, Sharkbot with a massive, massive wall blocking in 3 of its own disruptors. That is so painful right now. How much supply is a disruptor? They're what, 3, 4 supply? That is supply Sharkbot cannot afford to have sitting around there, and I'm not sure that will ever be fixed. So it goes to show even the best bots have troubles like this. Sometimes the best players have this happen in their games, but that really, really hurts for Sharkbot. You could potentially add checks in as a bot author to try and resolve that, but it's a fairly rare situation. It just definitely hurts in games like this, though. So Sharkbot's supply, it says it's 140. Really, it's 130 because there's disruptors that are not doing anything right now. The creep car keeps flying around, and now Aerys is hitting the 7th of Sharkbot. It can't afford to lose that base. It is establishing this lower base, which will maybe keep it alive a bit longer, but that is still very painful. And I think Sharkbot may need some counterattacks or something against this. Look at Eris with its massive Spore Crawler Forest right now, pushing in towards the Protoss. It's so cool how the bot authors have programmed their bot to walk forward with spores to sort of siege up. This is some really great programming by Eris because it's got a massive mineral bank, so it may as well spend money on Spore Crawlers. They cost no supply. And yeah, let's see. Sharkbot loses that 7th. This base is getting a few probes put at it, but that income's falling. The supply is falling even more. We may just be witnessing a slow death right now. Tempest getting targeted down so quickly by those corruptors. Fungal growth's being utilized, and now it's mainly zealots on the ground for Sharkbot, which is really weird against this many air units. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think we probably have our victor with this one. I don't see Sharkbot coming back, which is unfortunate. It had a really good setup. Getting up to 7 bases against Eris is usually a good spot, but if you can't maintain the trades, and if when it did attack, it did throw away too many units, and that was quite painful. Who knows? Maybe it would have won this game if it wasn't getting units caught in here. Now a Colossus joining that, so that is unfortunate for Sharkbot. Really, really painful, and yeah. You can't really win a game against the best Zerg bot with that much supply tied up doing nothing. Sharkbot might have lost anyway, but it definitely didn't help. And yeah, it's just going to be a slow push, I think, as Sharkbot is just broke and dying. The trade's massively pivoted in favor of Eris once it got those Broodlords out. They're a very difficult thing to program against. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, though, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots, more bagels, whatever it may be. And then, yeah, subscribe and consider becoming a YouTube member. I'm trying to get as many videos done as I can, as I will be going away for around a week here, which means I won't be able to record. I should be there for the Sunday SC2AI cast, though. I don't really want to miss that. And then, yeah, I'll just keep on watching these bot games. We'll see if Aerys or Sharkbot get any updates in the future. Probably would be a good focus for the bot author of Sharkbot to try and address this. It's probably something that just happens very rarely, but it is a Sharkbot problem because Sharkbot does place its buildings, I believe, randomly or using some algorithm. So basically that means that this will happen in a number of the games. And it's quite painful, so not sure how the bot author could adjust for that. Maybe trying to always leave a gap between buildings. That would, it's definitely doable to fix. It's not easy. And yeah, quite a slow death, though, by Sharkbot, just having so much static defense and stuff, trying to hold the line. The disruptors finally got free, it seems. Oh, I think maybe they were abducted out of that wall. GG.